MDM4U Culminating Project, Relationship of Education Level to Income in Canada by Quinlan Van. Hypothesis. My thesis is that individuals living in Canada who have completed a higher level of education make more money than individuals living in Canada who have completed a lower level of education, regardless of their immigration status in Canada. A subproblem which was analyzed is the relationship of the immigration status to the income level, as well as the relationship of minority subgroups to the income level, which I will discuss more about later in the presentation. Analysis of immigration status and education on income. Looking at the bar graph, Canadians with high education levels make more than those with basic education levels, and Canadians who identify as immigrants make more than those who identify as non-immigrants. The difference in income between immigrants and non-immigrants may be due to the immigration programs offered by Canada with a focus on specific expertise, skilled worker, or skilled trade that the country is lacking. Comparing the tallest bar with the shortest bar, the income gap is $18,600. This difference is between individuals with high education and those with basic education. Analysis of education level slopes. Analyzing the slope levels of different education categories was performed using scatterplot and equation of best fit line. The calculated line of best fit of education high has a different slope value to its generated line of best fit by Excel software. However, the B-value is very close. Similarly, the calculated line of best fit of the education basic has a different slope value to its generated line of best fit by Excel software. However, the B-value is also very close. Both the calculated best fit line and the generated line of best fit show a positive slope M. Analysis of sub-minority groups. The income levels of immigrants with high or basic education was reviewed between the different minority groups. Looking at the pie chart in the upper left-hand corner, there is a difference of 8% between the lowest income earning group, West Asians, and the highest earning group, not a visible minority, for individuals with a high education. Looking at the pie chart in the lower left-hand corner, there is a difference of 10% between the lowest income earning group, West Asian, and the highest earning group, not a visible minority, for individuals with basic education. On the upper right-hand side, for income levels of non-immigrants with high education, there are two clusters of data. South Asians, Black, Latin, and West Asians, which represent about 12 to 15%, and Asians and not a visible minority represent about 22 to 23%. For income levels of non-immigrants with basic education in general, there's an even distribution between 5 out of the 6 minority groups, with a difference of 4% between them. Not a visible minority group represents 28% of the income distribution of minority groups, double that of the South Asian and the West Asian minority groups. Analysis of minority subgroups. In summary, the educated subgroups had the smallest income difference, meaning those with a diploma, certificate, or degree earned a similar amount to their peers, no matter their minority group. The subgroups with basic education had the largest difference in income levels. In this group of non-immigrants with basic education, the not a visible minority group earned more than their peers by 16% in 2021. This may be due to businesses which do not require college or university education, which are passed from generation to generation for subgroups which have been in Canada for longer. Analysis of socio-demographic groups. The different clusters of data represent the different census years, 2006, 2011, 2016, and 2021, with an upward trend as the incomes increase over time. There are two upward trend patterns. The cluster of data points show an upward trend pattern, which is the income of Canadians with a higher education, and the lower cluster data points represent the income of Canadians with a basic education. A sub-pattern observed is the second data point in each cluster of 4. This data point is always the highest income earner and is the socio-demographic of a Canadian who is not a visible minority with a high education. Conclusion. In conclusion, the hypothesis that individuals living in Canada with higher levels of education earned more than those with a lower level of education, regardless of their immigration status, is true. Applying the different statistical analyses, such as bar graphs, normal distribution, and linear regression, show a positive correlation of education levels to income levels. The bar graph compared the socio-demographic characteristics, such as immigration status, and the education levels, which showed the individuals with high education, like high school certification, college diploma, or university degree, earned more than their peers with basic education. A similar outcome was observed using the linear regression analysis. The relationship of the minority subgroups compared to the income levels was also explored using pie chart analyses. The income distribution of minority subgroups was somewhat evenly distributed for those with higher education. The subgroup with basic education had larger differences in income levels between the minority subgroups. Using a scatter factor analysis, the pattern of not a visible minority appears to have the highest average income when compared to their peers in each category, like immigration status and education level. In conclusion, obtaining a higher education will help improve chances of making more money as an adult. Also, obtaining higher education will help minorities stay competitive with the other minority subgroups.